Good morning, everybody. It's a little bit of a late start for me. It's 12, not 12, excuse me, 11, somewhere between 11 and 11:30. I don't remember exactly what time it is. April 28th. I just, my day's kind of already been thrown off because I guess when you get into a routine that you do on a daily basis almost, sometimes the littlest thing can throw your routine off. This morning's disruption of my routine was a happy disruption because Jerry Ann had gotten up earlier in the morning and ordered McDonald's breakfast, which we love their McGriddles. They now have a chicken McGriddle. I'm sorry, it took me a moment to remember. A chicken McGriddle, which I enjoy because it's got that sweetness from the McGriddle part, the grill cakes, whatever you want to call them, and then it's got the savory spiciness from the chicken, which I love that combination when it comes to food. I don't know why, it's me. Um, but then, excuse me, a little bit of a gas issue there. There it goes. And then of course, Jan, when she wakes up before me, sometimes she gets this. I guess the only way I can describe it is an energy to do stuff, and every so often that energy becomes a little bit of a disruption towards routines. So it was, you know, get a few little things done before I come in here and do my usual routine. Now, this morning's Bible read or devotional read comes from Matthew 8. Let me get the exact verses. Matthew 8, 23 to 27. Now, anybody who's ever studied the Bible hardcore will know that is basically the chapter and verses where Jesus gets into the boat with his disciples and they go out onto the Sea of Galilee and a storm crops up. And of course, we all know what happens from there. Now, in some senses, we are all in the same boat with this pandemic thing going on. But in other senses, we're not, especially depending on your location. Now, I got 3 shout outs that I remember last night. 2 from Carolina, 1 from California. And now they didn't say exactly what, well, I don't remember if they said what town or what area they lived in, but I also didn't say state, but just by the description of what's going on in her location or that person's location, Georgia. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm just I've had 3 different people talk about their states and their governor and what foolishness is going on in their location, and I just don't remember states or if they mentioned states. But yeah, here in Missouri, even here in Rolla, they're talking about reopening. Like Colton's is talking about reopening, and a couple other different places are starting to talk about reopening. But the thing is, according to the CDC's information, um, my area is right now up until like the first week of May is supposed to be the worst week for or the worst time for COVID. So it's kind of like um, the CDC changed their information. I haven't caught wind of it yet. I have 3 sources that I use for my information. One of them is the CDC's website itself. The other one is a local News Channel 3. And the third one is, and I can't remember the website. I could probably go look it up, but the third one is a health USAHealth.com or something like that, and USA Health it doesn't just compare the information from the CDC. It compares information from a global source and a U.S. source, and CDC. So my information is they're credible websites. It's just my brain is not all that credible because I read so much information. It sometimes gets jumbled up in there. So forgive me if I'm not giving you exact information because of my brain's jumbling of information. I get too much information and it comes out garbled. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to move something. So I'm sorry if the information doesn't sound credible, but my sources are. Um, that's just because my brain gets, like I said, gets jumbled up. But we are in a global sense in the same boat when it comes to things that affect the whole world, whether it's economy, health, natural resources, weather anomalies, things like that. Um, so the thing about being in the same boat for the disciples um, is they were human. We are prone as humans to fear and other different emotions, while the one person in the boat um, is not, and that was Jesus. Unfortunately, we don't have a well. I shouldn't say we don't have. Jesus is there for us. He can only do so much for us right now because most humans need need a physical or visual um, representation of. Uh, Dang it! Sorry, folks. My brain just took a nap. Um, Fear is the one thing that we as human beings are prone to have, and we don't always know how to deal with it. Some of us run, some of us stand. It's just how we react to the fear, and how it basically can take control of our lives. Um, Sorry. Anyhow, jeez, why did I get emotional there? Um, Fear can be irrational. It can be things as simple as fearing the unknown. Fearing the unknown is harder to deal with because it's the unknown. You don't know what could happen or what's going to happen. But fearing something that is in front of you or is there are controllable fears. Now, a lot of people fear things because they don't understand them. Well, that's simple. If you don't understand it, go learn about it. Your fear will go away. Um, Fear of losing control. Well, that one is something that is it can be fought off. It can You can learn to control that fear um, in a lot of different ways. Once you realize what you're afraid of, You can either learn how to deal with it, control it, understand it. The only thing that I can say that even I have issues with is the unknown. And it's not like, oh, well, yeah, I can read about that because I don't know about it. No, I'm talking about the unknown. We don't know what the future holds for any one individual person, let alone the whole planet. Those kind of fears are what most people would call anxiety fear. Fear can rear its head in many different forms. Anxiety is one of the biggest ones that people deal with. And I know not all anxiety is caused by fear. Um, Anxiety is one of those words that can be anxiety because you're excited about something, anxiety because you're afraid of something, anxiety because you don't think you can handle the situation. We all deal with one form or another of fear in its many different facets. It's how we deal with it when the situation comes up. I don't fear animals because of the fact that I know a lot about animals, but a lot of people fear certain kinds of animals because they don't understand. You can understand how an animal reacts by its action, and how you react to its action determines the outcome, and that sometimes causes the fear. If sorry, I'm about ready to stir my tea. My wife brought it to me a moment ago, and I just haven't stirred the honey. Hopefully, it looks like it's got a nice layer. And there are a lot of different aspects of life that I fear because I don't understand them. I don't know what's going to happen. Things like that. A lot of people have recently been talking about how I need to. I'm not going to quote them, so I'm going to use my own words. Grow a spine when it comes to dealing with my wife. Um, this morning, for example, this is going to be my example of the day. I woke up because Jerry Ann had told me that we had gotten food. Now I also woke up to my alarm. Jerry knows my basic routines. She knows one of my biggest routines that helps me get through the day is coming in here and doing Bible study and doing this. She had a little bit of a mess on one end of the kitchen table where we eat, and she decided after we got done eating she wanted to go through it to try to straighten it out, organize it, deal with it. She wanted me to help. I kind of got upset because of the fact that I don't function very well if I don't get part of my routine done, at least my morning routine. I helped her with the cookie cutters, and that's when I said, Jerry, I can't do this no more. I have to have my routine. If I don't have my routine, things get out of sorts for me, and it basically causes my whole day to get a little askew. Excuse me. Could have used a little bit more honey, but that's all right. And I said, look, I'm willing to help you. I just have to go do my routine. She got a little frazzled because of the fact that I wanted to basically stop in the middle of what she wanted to do so I can have my morning routine and not go bleh all day long. But she finally realized that, that I was right. There are times where I will put my foot down and say, look, it has to, either we have to do it this way or you're going to have to do it by yourself because of the fact that I cannot get into her mindset of how she wants things. Oh, man, that felt good. Sorry, I've been having gas all morning. I think it's something I ate last night. But anyhow, I do, when I feel it's necessary, put my foot down. yes, there are things about this house that I'm not happy about because of the factor it's all somebody else's desires. There's no 50-50 when it comes to decorations, decor, things like that. So yeah, everything right now is a working project. Yes, it's been wow. It will be 20 years in August of this year. Um, and I appreciate what you guys had to say, especially those who are being constructive. Those of you who are just being downright rude, no, you're done. I'm done with that. Um, if you want to have constructive criticisms and constructive information and whatnot, that's fine, Danny. I enjoy that kind of stuff because it makes my brain go, oh, oh, okay, yeah, okay, you know. But if you're gonna be rude about it, my brain just goes brick wall, shut down. I ain't dealing with that. So anybody who's gonna anybody who wants to make a comment, that's fine and dandy. If your comments are constructive or positive or anything like that, good. I'll accept that. But if you're gonna be rude, obnoxious, and annoying, no, no, you're just gonna get blocked because I'm done. I'm done trying to be nice to those who want to come on here and be annoying, obnoxious, and um, inconsiderate. I'm not judging you. I very rarely judge people. Yes, I harp about things and I say things that some people might consider judgmental, but in honesty, I'm not a judgmental type person. Um, those of you who watched our videos, my video, her video, our video, and you're seeing one thing that maybe I don't see, and you want to come on here and be, and you want to basically say your piece about it, that's fine and dandy. Be constructive. Don't be negative. Don't be, for lack of better words, a Debbie Downer. If you've ever watched Mad TV, you know what Debbie Downer is. Um, I mean, I take constructive criticism better than I do negative criticism. And a lot of times, the one person I'm talking about, and this is a person who's done constructive criticism. Actually, there was two people who did constructive criticism, and they went back and forth about the things that they saw in our videos and whatnot. And I read them, and I went, oh, okay, yeah, all right, okay, I see what you're talking about now. I understand. Okay, I took it all into consideration. But the one person who is now blocked, who was very rude, very obnoxious, and was telling me not to judge them when they were judging me, it was just kind of like, no, you're done. I'm not having it anymore. It basically, I read it Monday morning, and it caused the rest of the morning, pretty much the rest of the morning, to be bad. And thankfully, work was good. Work was actually better than I thought it was going to be because it was the supervisor's first day back. Excuse me. The first day the supervisor was back, and I got in there, and I thought I was going to get harped at. No, no harping whatsoever. In fact, in the communication log, she didn't name names, but we all knew who she was talking about, and it wasn't just me. So I'm not just patting my own back. Um, she basically thanked us outright for. Well, I shouldn't say outright because she didn't. Like I said, she didn't name names, but she pretty much thanked us for basically working our tail ends off. And then I found out that there was two names in the book that was named directly, because I guess they didn't do their best or whatever. But then I found out through two of my coworkers that basically the supervisor had her assistant manager that was in charge for the week almost in tears, and basically said that 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 was the last straw, because she left the girl a list of things that needed to be done during that week, and she didn't do any of it. So yeah, she's on her last straw, but it's what happens. If you're the person that the chief leaves in charge of the tribe, and you can't even do one major thing that the chief asks you to do, yeah, that's going to irritate the chief. But I know last night, because of how busy it was, or the way it was busy, I should say, not how busy it was, but she's probably going to leave me one or two little things like, why don't you do this, this, and this, and I'm always polite about it. I'm like, hey, the way the people were coming in, I got very little chance to get away from the register area. But all in all, yesterday was, I'm sorry, between the tea bringing up the warm tea bringing up the air trapped in my gut, and the factor, the way things have been here at the house the last 24 hours thereabouts, 12 to 24 hours. I got home from work last night and I was in a good mood and whatnot. But when I got home, Jerry wasn't feeling well. She was feeling, well, between the aches and the pains, and she was having stomach issues, and she actually sounded like she had some sort of 24-hour bug or something like that, because she looked like her whole face was just not really drained of life or anything like that, but she had no energy. She sounded stuffy, like she had the allergies or something got to her. She was just like, I was kind of concerned, because the way she started acting before I put her to bed and whatnot was almost like she had been drinking, but there was no evidence on her breath. There was no empty bottles of wine or anything like that, which is all we normally have around the house, is wine and wine coolers and regular wine. She wasn't doing all that great. So I put her to bed, vaporized her, the whole 9 yards, just to make her feel better. Of course, she woke up this morning bright as all get out and ready to tackle the world. Yeah, her way of tackling the world. But we woke up, excuse me, we woke up this morning. I actually went to bed early last night because I didn't want something to happen if I was going to be sitting in the other room playing on the computer. So I went to bed at a roughly decent hour, about 1:30, 1:45 thereabouts. Excuse me. Of course, I slept not really soundly. I was up and down. I woke up a couple times, but I slept fairly well myself. Of course, I had woken up at like 7:38, and she had turned off the vaporizer at 4. She said she turned it off at 4:30 in the morning because she was getting too hot, and it felt like a jungle in the bedroom. And I just kind of went, well, that's what happens when you turn on a high air vaporizer in a house that's the temperature is 64 degrees for the most part. And granted, our room, because of where it's sitting, is sitting in a location that gets sunlight pretty much all year round. It's a southern facing room. So, yeah, I did wake up. Not enough breathing, too much talking. I did wake up at one point in time in the middle of the night because I was too warm. Of course, I slept in underwear and a t-shirt. That might have been a little too much information there, but yeah, I had a sheet, just to cover my legs, because my fan that sits on my nightstand kind of blows in that general direction. Because I don't want it directly on my face, because and that causes all kinds of morning irritations between dry eye, crusty eye, dry sinus cavity, dry throat. It amazes me how because of all the sinus problems I have, I'm what is classified as a mouth breather, which basically means I sleep with my mouth open to breathe. It amazes me how I can wake up and my sinus cavity is just about as dry, if not drier, than my throat, which last night it wasn't because of it was so moist in the bedroom. But she had a rough night. I had a decent night at work, but she had a rough night because of her allergies or whatever was causing her to feel sick and miserable. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this because it's over 25 minutes long. Yes, I do ramble on from time to time. And yes, I do repeat myself from time to time. That's just because of the way my brain works. But before I shut down, I'm going to try to be as polite as possible about this. The videos I've done in the past that had me hostile and upset was a combination of the foolishness of my country's dealing with the COVID problem and the fact that the people, the responses from my hostile videos or my judgmental videos or however you want to put them. One particular person who was, and I'm not going to be polite about this. I don't care about being polite about this particular thing. A shit stir. And you know what? I have enough of those in my life. Don't need them in here. I have enough issues with people that I deal with on a regular basis, and I'm not talking about here at my house. I'm talking about at my job, who are arrogant, rude, and just downright annoying. I'm not going to deal with that on my channel. I got enough of that in my life. I don't need it in what I consider this my safe space. And if my safe space can't be a safe space because of one or two hostile people, I'm just gonna let you go. I'm just gonna kick you out. I like to call this my clubhouse. Now, if you've ever grown up as a child and had a clubhouse where you basically either it was a tree house or a fort that you built outside, or in the case that I found in Germany, I wouldn't call it a cave because it wasn't like a real deep cave. It was more like, looked like somebody built some sort of like semi-underground bunker in their backyard to have a place to go hide out while enemy troops were going through the area. I call that my clubhouse. Before I got married, I had my personal space to go to, which at the time in Arizona was my bedroom. But my bedroom was a very large room. It was a 12 by 13 foot room with a walk-in closet, and I had a desk for doing my schoolwork. I had a table that can be converted into a drafting board for whatever. I had it was supposed to be a bunk bed system, but the bottom bunk was not attached. It was designed where you can put, like, you had the upper bunk and then you had like a space for the other single bed, and then next to it a desk. So I had that area, and down below the bed it was my dresser. Or did I have one or two dressers at the time? I had my old mahogany Filipino dresser from when I was a baby. My dad got it. Then I think I had another one that came with the no. Yeah, I had another one that came with the set, with the bunk set. And then I had like an old, like a old fashioned claw foot, 3 cushion couch that was my Aunt Helen's that I inherited. Um, I had that in my bedroom. Then in my walk-in closet, I had more space than I needed, so I had all my hanging clothes in there, and I had a few other things in there that I don't remember off the top of my head. Um, and on the door of the walk-in closet was a big old John Wayne poster, so a big old door-sized John Wayne. I mean, a larger-than-life John Wayne poster. But I now have basically a roll-top desk in the guest room as my sanctuary of sorts. And yeah, I would like to take this room and rearrange it and turn it into a man cave. But at the same time, it is the only room with a bed for a guest. Of course, I'm the type of person who would give up my space on the king size bed and go sleep in the living room. And not that I want to change this room around. The color of the room, which is purple, which is the original color that it came in when we moved into the house. We just never repainted it because the whole idea was like, oh, purple. Her sister Janie likes purple, blah blah blah, things like that. But I have to be honest with you, I'm getting a little tired, frustrated of having every space, every wall basically in this house, except for mom's area, covered with whatever. I mean, I just take you on a spin of this room. See behind me, that's basically the wardrobe or armoire came with the house. We left it in here because this room does not have a closet. This room was originally supposed to be a dining room. Then the guest bed, of course, guest bed is right now covered with boxes for stuff for friends and family. The extra lighting for over the bed in case you want to turn off the overhead lighting, and then just all kinds of stuff hanging on the walls to the point where you can barely see what color the wall was, and of course the top of my desk and all the portraits of her family. This is all her family. Don't see, there's only 1 or 2 pictures of us, but there's no pictures of my family. Of course, I don't have very many pictures of my family, and of course my desk space. So, and when I had what is now her crafting room, which I might take you on a tour one day. I might take you on a personal tour of the whole house one day when Jerry's not here. But it's like when she asked me, "Oh, does this look good here?" I sit there and go, I don't know, and I don't care. The reason why I don't know and I don't care is because most of the places I ever lived, if we had anything on the walls, hanging on the walls, is family portraits, 1 or 2 family portraits. That's it. Not all these mirrors and signages. So this is all new to me. Now, when we lived in New York, it was her father's house, and her father basically let her do whatever. And I think this is part of the problem. I think part of the problem is when she was growing up. Granted, she had brothers and sisters, but her parents were like, "Oh, leave baby." Her family nickname Baby Snow when she was a child. It was like, oh, you gotta protect her, you gotta do this, you gotta pamper her, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well that's how your family treated me. I'm an only child. I wasn't spoiled rotten like some people were. I don't know if she was spoiled or not, but I was an only child. You wanted something, you earned it. I was given gifts on birthday and Christmas, and anything beyond birthday and Christmas was either something that was given to me by my grandparents or I earned it. Somehow I earned it. Whether it was chores around the house or good grades or whatever, I earned it. So now here I am, I'm like, not used to this. I get frustrated with it sometimes, but then I go, you know what? If it was up to me, my walls would be barren. I wouldn't have anything on the walls. If I did, it would be something that matched my personality. I don't know whose personality splashed all over my walls, but oh my goodness. But anyhow, I need to stop complaining. I need to end this video. It's too long. Yeah, 36 minutes, almost 40 minutes. Well, anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and actually end this video. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'll do that tomorrow or tonight. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments or constructive criticism, go ahead and put it in the box. Oh boy. Go ahead and put it in the box below, the comment section below. Those of you who actually shouted out your state location, thank you very much. I enjoyed that. It shows that you 3 people paid some attention to my video. I'm pretty sure most of you pay a lot of attention to my videos. If you're new to my insanity, or have any friends, family, co-workers, whomever you think might enjoy listening to this crazy person complain or talk, it's not all complaining. Don't get me wrong. Go ahead and hit that bell down below. YouTube will let you know when I put in a new video. Until next time, God bless. Have a good day. Be safe.